I love it. Maybe I should bring you online and have you do all the announcements for me.
Miami traffic, American 2289 heavy, roll in 8 right.
So welcome everybody. Good morning. Another flight, another casual flying flight from Miami, and we're going to do it to Nassau in the Bahamas this morning. And we'll be flying the Saab 340 Bravo or B. She takes about 34 passengers, and I don't have the Pacific livery for her as yet. So we will be borrowing a Silver Airlines aircraft to do this flight this morning. So welcome aboard, and let's jump into the flight deck and get this flight on the way. All right, so we're already taking the liberty to set up the aircraft, power it up, and get it running. Systems, we have our main flight put into the flight management computer. All we need now to do is pick up the weather and see what our barometric pressure is, and see what runway we're going to choose. We are live on the VATSIM system, and hopefully we will get some ATC later on today. You will hear other aircraft, other players online on the VATSIM system. When there is the absence of ATC, we all get on one frequency, which is called the Unicom frequency, so that we can announce our positions, our intentions, and basically what we're doing, so that we don't collide with each other. So let's pick up the weather now. All right. So we've encountered a little hiccup here. All right, guys, let me, I just picked up a little hiccup here for the trackIR software. Can't move my head around. Oh dear, I thought I had everything sorted out here. These are the trials and tribulations of flight sim. Xplane hasn't picked it up. Um, well, I don't think it's overcast. Just a few clouds. There's another player leaving Miami right now. So give me a sec. Let me just fix this little problem that I have with the trackIR software, and I'll be right back with you. No, Uncle Buzz, I'm not raiding the galley. I'm fixing the sim so that it will one component on the sim stop working. So trials and tribulations of flight sim. It's not perfect, but it gets there. All right, I think we have pretty much everything set back up. Um, Connect back to the network. All right, there we are on the flight deck. And there we go. So we should be, yep, back to our position. Fuel on board. We have everything on board. And we have another aircraft leaving Miami right now, I think. So let's continue on taking the weather. So back on the flight deck, and let's get the weather.
Kilo, Mike, India, Alpha, airport information, Juliet 1753, Zulu, weather, wind 077 at 12, visibility 10, sky condition, few clouds at 4,400, temperature 23, dew point 12, altimeter 3028, advise on initial contact, you have information, Juliet.
All right, so we have information, Juliet, and
Kilo, Mike.
winds are 077 at 12. So we're going to be probably choosing runway 8 right, which is the most common runway to depart from Miami. Um, so let's go to the departures on the flight management computer.
Virgin 2 Kilo, loading up on 26 left.
And we're going to pick the skips to departure. All right, I should have picked the runway. Skips to departure. And we say execute. We'll go check the legs. So we're going to fly from the runway. We're going to turn to the Virginia Key VOR, Ibis, Krabi, and down to the last point in our flight plan before we reach Nassau. And then at Nassau, we will have an arrival, but we won't know what that arrival will be until we get a little closer. Good. So we'll be climbing at about 180 knots. So we'll put that in. We'll be cruising today based on our flight plan, which is being powered by SimBrief. We'll be cruising today at about 19,000 feet. So we'll put that in, 190. And we'll descend at about 200 knots. Well, this is to help set up the profile. So there we go. And, all right. Well, there's our legs. And hey, Head Splitter. Good morning. Welcome aboard the stream. Doing a short flight today, Head Splitter. We're doing it from Miami to Nassau in Saab 340. Small little turboprop. Only carries 34 passengers. And we're on the southeastern side of Miami International on the tarmac. There's the bus that brought the passengers. And yeah, we should be ready to go. A69. Well, the thing is, it only carries 34 passengers, Uncle Buzz. I don't think we have a 69. The passenger may be doing a 69, but I don't think he'll be in position 69. Anything's possible on these small regional airlines. Now, we would be flying. Oh, everybody's taking off west. I wonder why. The winds are very different. Anyway, so, yeah. So let's. His alcohol level is 4.20. Yeah, probably. Yeah, there's a lot of free alcohol on these small regional turboprops. So let's get back in here. Let's get this baby going. So it's set up. Um, we pre-powered the aircraft. There is an APU outside, auxiliary power unit. And what we do once we get engine number 2 started, we will go on to the internal generator of the engine and then disconnect all the external power. So let's ask the ground crews to leave so we can get this plane started up. So get them to start up. And we can start closing up the aircraft. So we'll be climbing to 19,000. We don't have ATC with us just yet, so we'll pretty much fly the route based on how we know best to fly it. From Atlanta to Kingston, you're heading down to Jamaica, Uncle Buzz? I'm sure there are flights direct from Atlanta to Kingston. Kingston and pretty much most of the eastern airports, international airports in the United States fly to Kingston. Oh, can I make it happen? Yeah, I can do that. Yeah, we can do that after this flight. In the real world, I don't know. I'm not sure about that. All right, so we just wait for everybody to clear off and make sure that the area is clear, so we can spin the prop. And yep, right side is clear, so I think we can get a start going. So what we'll do, we'll turn the beacon on. Now I have a switch panel here for that, so the beacon goes on, indicating to everyone else that we're about to start. Let's get the ignitions on. And we'll switch off the internals. So we have more power to start the engine. And we are starting the right engine. So what we're doing now, we're waiting for the engine RPM to climb. Once that gets over, yep, 30%, we can introduce fuel. Oh, Kingston, Ontario. Yeah, we can look up that airport. We can do that. All right. So we have a good start on engine number 2. So what we'll do is get the right engine generator engaged. That's engaged. Disconnect the external power. Tell the guy outside we don't need it anymore. So we get rid of it. And we will now proceed to start engine 1, or the left engine. Yeah, wait for that NG to rise. 30%. And engine 1 is starting. So we go back in, make sure we have light off. Engine temperatures are good. And we can engage the generator on engine number 1. There we go. So all electrical systems can now come back on. Ignitions can come back into the on position and guarded. Then we have to get the environmental systems going. We'll reset them, both of them. That's been set. Auto caution on. Turn this generator to generator. We'll turn on the window heat, pitot heat, and make sure our seatbelt signs are on. Tell the air hostess that we are ready to taxi. All lights are out except this side. That will come out when the RPMs of the engines go up. Let's check our instruments. Oil pressures look good. Temperatures look good. Engine temperatures look good. Cabin pressure is set. Anti-skid is on. And we'll turn on our transponder. It's required on the VATSIM system. Engage our flight plan. There we go. We will be taking off with first position flaps. Why? that not working? But anyway, I'll have to check that. Right. And okay, so yeah, I think we're ready to go. Illumination. Right, so brakes are on. Pitot, ice pitot. It will engage once we increase power to the engines. All right, let's make our announcement. Miami traffic, Pacific 29956 is at Juliet 52, taxi to runway 8 right via Papa, Miami traffic. So now we've made our announcement. We'll put the engines into flight ground. And we will mark the time that we're leaving, 1906 Zulu. And the taxi light can come on. Release the brakes. And we're off. Test the brakes. Ah, we have ATC on today. Okay, we've got pre-clearance. See who's... Someone has given us clearance. All right, we shall continue taxiing because I'm not seeing an ATC registered here on the system. So I don't know where I got that clearance from. What pole, Uncle Buzz? Sorry about that, guys. I got a clearance from an ATC, and I don't know. He's not registered on the system. He's not online. He's not showing any frequency. So I don't know where he sent that clearance from. So we'll continue flying and see what he has to say after. He seems to be an observer. So I don't know why he's sending me he's the eye in the sky. Yeah, he's probably the secret eye in the sky. Yeah. Oh, I'm not using HOTAS, but I'm using the SciTech flight yoke systems. So yeah, so coming up to 8 right here, we'll just do our pre-takeoff checks. We will set our climb out speed 180. There we go. Just need a little bit more. There we go. Yes, head splitter. You're stomping on head splitter today, aren't you? All right, so we're gonna hold short of it right here. Make an announcement. See if anyone is inbound. We don't want to cross in front of them, so we set the brake. And we'll do our pre-takeoff checks. Oil pressures are in the green. We have fuel flow. Engine temperatures look good. All that checks out. We want to trim the aircraft. Let's do that now. And we want to release the gust locks so that the wheels can be, the controls can be, and we'll do a flight control check. That's checked. Miami traffic, Pacific 29056 holding short of runway 8 right. Do we have any inbound traffic 8 right? Miami traffic. At this point in time, the radar can go on. Make sure we're not radiating anyone at the terminal. All right. We're now switch from ground operations to flight. We should be ready to go. Let's have a look. No one coming in on the landing side. We should be clear. So landing lights and strobes can come on. Air hostesses to be seated. Now release the brakes. And we're ready to go.
Approaching 8 right.
Miami traffic, Pacific 2956 now lining up runway 8 right. Miami traffic.
On runway 8 right.
Okay, we're on 8 right, verify. We'll set our heading bug. We're on 8 right. Let's range down. Okay. Miami traffic, Pacific 2956, takeoff runway 8 right, RNAV to Virginia Key, skips to departure, climb to flight level 190, Miami traffic. Alright guys, let's go. Make sure the props get into the green. And off we go. Speed is alive. V1, V-rotate, V2. And we're off. Touch the brakes, stop the wheels from spinning, and the gear can come up. Taxi light can go off. Oh, it's a bit windy. And we start turning toward Virginia Key. Flaps can come up. Bring the throttles back. The props back, sorry. Get some more torque off the engines. It's pretty windy. And we'll now set the autopilot. And we're up and away. So what we'll do next is we'll engage the LNAV and so what we'll do is let the flight management computer take over. So we're going to nav. She'll make a slight correction to get on course, and we'll continue to climb to our flight level of 190. Oh, getting a little turbulence. Can increase the range now. Hello, Pay Seattle. What's happening? Good morning. Welcome to the stream. We're just doing a little Cat 1 or 2, Cat 2 flight from Miami to Nassau. What are you guys up to? So as we continue to climb, we'll just continue to monitor the engines. And as I say, well, the sim hasn't been set up for any failures. So, but basically in the real world, the pilots will be monitoring the engines, torque, flight plan, monitoring communications. By the time we get to about 15 or 16,000 feet, we'll be handed over usually from departure to center. There's no one on right now. And this flight shouldn't be too long. Nassau is right there. Hey, Seattle, thanks for the follow. And we also stream Sea of Thieves as well. You can have a look at that when we do that. But during the day, we mostly fly Xplane. Welcome aboard. So we're coming up to 10,000 feet. Before 10,000 feet, we must maintain under 250 knots or less. That's mostly for the big tube liners. And at 10,000 feet, we will do our lights out. And yeah, we can probably turn, if it isn't too turbulent, seatbelt signs can probably go off. Yes, Uncle Buzz, we know you've never heard of Sea of Thieves, but we'll introduce it to you. Why don't you ask Ed Splitter to give you some advice on Sea of Thieves? Sea of Thieves? No, it isn't hard at all. It isn't hard to learn, but it is hard to master. That's what they say. If my audio on Discord is running, yes, it will run. But then you will be heard on the stream as well. So the audio from Discord will be picked up on the stream. All right, so we have 10,000 feet. So landing lights can come off. Logo and wing lights can come off. And it seems like a smooth flight. We can turn the seatbelt signs off. And for everything else, pretty much, this is a dark cockpit concept, just like how the Airbus and, of course, new aircraft are coming out now. So instead of having a lot of illumination lights lighting up certain systems that are running, they've gone with the dark concept. So if a light lights on this panel up here or any panel on the aircraft, it means that something is wrong, not that it's working. If it's off, it means that it's working. So that's a new concept, which they introduced in the late 80s and going into the 90s. Airbus uses that. And this is a European-made aircraft, being a Saab. So we're still climbing out, and we're coming to the end of our SID. Skips being the end, then Rajay. What we'll need to now do is check with the weather at Nassau to see what runway we will be picking to land. So let's do that now.
Mike, Yankee, November, airport information, Mike, 1900, Zulu, weather, wind, 078 at 11, visibility, 10,000, sky condition, few clouds at 3,900, temperature, 24, dew point, 13, altimeter, 3025, advise on initial contact, you have information, Mike.
So we have information on Mike on board. That would change if a ATC came on, because there's no ATC
Yankee,
there.
November.
Let's shut him up now. All right, there we go. So the winds are 078 at 11. And let's have a look at our charts. Let's pull up our airport charts for Nassau. All right, so the winds are 078. So they're coming from this direction. So we won't want to land on runway 14. It'll be too much of a crosswind, although it's a longer runway. So we will probably go for runway 10. So it'll be slightly off to our left on the nose. So what we will do is no arrivals. Let's have a see. We have no arrivals into Nassau, so we'll pick, and we will do the RNAV runway 10. So, and we'll do it from Jobib. So that's what we'll be looking at. So let's put that into the flight management computer. So we'll go arrive, and we will pick RNAV 10. The only two points they have is Atade and Relieve, which is up on top. But we want to go straight to Jobib. So we'll say execute. We'll have a space in our flight plan. What we'll do, we'll pick up that space and put it here. Say execute. And now we have a new top of descent. So this is our descent profile. I'll show you all how we'll calculate that. So this is the RNAV. Final approach course is 098 degrees. Our transition altitude is 18,000 feet. And we want our decision height. This is the height that we will decide if the runway was occluded, whether to go around. If we see it or we don't see it, 277 feet. So that being in mind, we can close that off and we can put that information in. So there we go. So we're almost to skips, 14,000 feet. And our decision height will turn up here. So we will put in 280 feet. There it is. Oh, that was 290. Sorry. Right there. 280 feet. And yeah, we're pretty much set until we get to our top of descent. So at 18,000 feet, which is transition altitude for this area, we will then move from local barometric pressure to standard barometric pressure. And in inches of mercury, it'll be 2992, 29.92 inches of mercury. In the metric system, it'll be 1013 hectopascals. I would mostly use that in the Caribbean and over in the Europe, where they use a metric system. So according to the system, there's one airplane at Nassau. He's preparing to leave. He's not showing where he's going to. But we have no other inbound traffic into Nassau this morning. Cabin pressure looks good. Oil temperatures and pressures look good in the green. Now we've reached the end of the SID, leaving Miami. And now we are on our normal flight path of our flight plan, which there is only one waypoint on that flight plan, which is Rajay. So we should be heading to Rajay now. And there it is. That's Rajay. And if we look here on this monitor, on the radar, that's our 1,000 feet to our climb, to our desired altitude. This green knob here on the circle on the display is showing where we need to start our descent. We go back to standard. Yep, standard barometric pressure. 2992. 1013. And both sides, yep, synced up. All right, folks, we're just at our cruising altitude. Yep, 19,000 feet. And we can put in the VNAV to hold this altitude. We'll bring our props back to 1200. and 18 miles to top of descent. So it's really going up and back down. If we were in a tube liner, a jet, we would have been at cruising altitude a long time ago. So if we pull back up our charts, let's look at our height constrictions. So at Jobib, we need to be at 2,000 feet. And let's check the flight management computer, and that's correct, 2,000 feet or above. And then we get onto the RNAV for runway 10. So this is our target altitude we need to get down to. So we'll put that in now into the MCP. Scroll that down to 2,000. There we go. Once this little green circle comes into the aircraft there, in the symbol, we start our descent. Again, I'd like to remind all the viewers that this is powered by VATSIM. We're on the VATSIM network, where most simmers that are serious about doing flight sim based on real-world conditions and real-world procedures, they join the VATSIM system. And my flight planning is powered by SimBrief. So SimBrief does all my flight plans for me. We are flying for our virtual airline, Pacific Airways virtual. So this would be considered a Cat 2 flight, Category 2 flight. It's on our flight line. And so we'll fly to Nassau, and then we'll land on the ground, dispatch our passengers, take on new passengers, and fly back to Miami. So that will be considered a complete loop of this flight route. Begin our descent. Down we go. Bring the engine power back so we don't overspeed the aircraft. And what we need to do now is tell the pressurization system that we're going down. We'll set our landing altitude. So the plane will depressurize automatically as we descend. Tom, I don't know if you're still there, but I know you had a question about the Zibo 738. So when I get on the ground here, I'll probably hook you up on Discord, and we can we can talk about it. All right, guys. So we've passed transition level, and we now need to put this back to the local barometric pressure of 3025. Nice. Actually, I haven't flown the Zebo for a little while. I'm sure there are many updates on it. I haven't checked for the updates. What number have they reached to now? About what, 50? I've been flying the new Tolis A321 Neo. Lovely plane to fly. If you can get your hands on one. All right, so for those interested, that sound that you hear in the background there is the hydraulic pump. Um, it doesn't run constantly, so it keeps priming the hydraulics. And the hydraulics are used, the pressure drops every time the controls are used or control surface is moved. 3.45, okay. And when it gets below a certain pressure, the hydraulic pump clicks on and repressurizes the system. So we are saving energy on the aircraft instead of having the pumps running constantly. So up ahead there, guys, is Nassau. There's no ATC on still. Bit of a disappointment, but they usually come on later on in the afternoon. So if we look here on the flight plan, so we reached the last point of our flight plan, and we're now going to join and intercept the course to the approach. And there it goes. It just armed itself, and we're turning on to the approach. So we want to be at this point here at 2,000 feet at Jobib. We're coming up on 10,000 feet. Seatbelt signs can go on in a little while. So at 10,000 feet, so the landing lights can come on. Logo wing lights can come on, and the seat belts. That's our 10,000 feet flow. What we can do is zoom in a little bit, the flight plan. So we're bringing some holidaymakers out of Miami to Nassau, and lots of things to see at Nassau: windsurfing, kite surfing, sailing, fishing, lovely beaches. Apparently Johnny Depp has an island, his own island out here somewhere in the Bahamas. I don't know if he still has it. But if you all have ever seen that movie, or that series, Black Sails, it was about the pirates that operated in and around the Bahamas, and Nassau being the center of all the action. It's a very, very good series on Netflix. You guys can have a look at it. It's quite graphic. There's a lot of violence, so I don't think it's recommended for kids. But yeah, very, very good series. So I think we're getting down nicely. We have, let's have a look. 10 miles to Jobib. We're at 5,000 feet. And so 5 from 2, that's 3. 3 threes are 9. Yeah, so we're right on profile. And yeah. The aircraft is managing the descent quite nicely, the autopilot. So we want to touch down at about 106 knots. Gear will extend at 150. And we can start bringing our flaps down at 175 knots. So we set our heading bugs. But Tom, I think I have 3.45, you know. I must check. I think that was the last update that they did. Or was it 3.43? I'm not sure. But for the Zebo, I think it's 3.43 I have. It was working fine. What about the Max? You know if they updated the Max? Okay, so we're turning on course. Final course for runway 10. And this will be our descent profile for the RNAV. Right here. That's our height alerter. That's all right. We'll maintain 2000 until this this indicator starts to come down. It becomes active, and it has just become active. So okay, excellent. Version 4. All right, I'll need to look for that. So at this point in time, we will arm the approach. That's so once this little blue indicator gets to the level line here, the aircraft will pitch over. And there's the airport ahead. You can see the rotating beacon. And we'll slow the airplane up. And we're pitching over now on the profile. Down to the runway. Checking the speed, and we've reached the speed of gear extension. Gear can come down. Landing light on. One more position of flaps. Square up our heading bug. Nassau traffic, Pacific 2956 is now final. RNAV runway 10, 2 mile final. Nassau traffic. props to full.
Approaching 9.
Autopilot off. I have control. Bit of a hard landing there, but not too bad. The wheels didn't break off. And Nassau traffic, Pacific 2956, clear of runway 10, taxi terminal via Juliet, cross runway 14, Nassau traffic. Alright, so now that we've landed, we'll do some cleanup. So the pitos can come on, window heat can come off. We can turn off the radar. We don't radiate anybody on the ground. Flaps can come up. Landing lights and strobes off. So from runway 10, there was a bit of a long taxi back to the terminal. And we can put back on the gust lock. There we go. No one coming that side. No one coming from that side. So what I'm using right now are the power lever, condition levers, to change the angle on the pitch of the propellers, and to give me forward thrust and reverse thrust, so I don't have to be taxing on the brakes all the time. And save the brakes, brake shoes. So that's why you're hearing all the different tones. All the different tones. Hey, Grimo, what's happening? No, just landed on runway 10 at Nassau. The island of Nassau. So hold up here before runway 14, make sure no one's coming in there. Nassau traffic, Pacific 29056 crossing runway 14 on India. Nassau traffic.
Approaching 1-4.
So we won't be going over to the big gates because that was where the tube liners park here at Nassau. So we'll head over to the regional side of the airport where the turboprops and smaller regional jets and turboprops park. We'll offload our passengers, take on new fuel, do a new flight plan, and head back to Miami. Okay, set the brakes, unfeather the props. They've been unfeathered. Transponder to go off and mark my arrival time of 20:05 Zulu. Need to do this for my virtual airline. There goes engine 1. And we will call for the APU. It's now available, so we'll switch on to external power, and we can shut engine 2 down. Beacon can come off. Seatbelt sign can come off. And we can proceed to open the doors. And get our ground handling guys to drive up and come pick up the passengers. Seatbelt signs are off. Switch that over to external power. Ignitions can come off. Close the oxygen. And that's our shutdown complete. So we'll reset the pressurization for our flight black. So folks, that's our arrival into Nassau on the VATSIM system. So if you bear with me, I'm just going to do the flight planning back to Miami. ATC has just come online. So when we leave here, we will be in control with ATC. Let's see what happens. So I'll be right back. Stick around.